Hello everyone. Today is second to last, I would be assuming, or maybe third to last update on my project Pan 2019. I've done pretty well. I'll do in the very end of the year, I'll do like a summary, meaning I'll show you everything that I've actually used up this year. And I have done it for last year, a tally up of what kind of budget did I actually spend on makeup, on the stuff that I actually used up throughout the year. So I will show you that. I think that is kind of interesting to keep track and see what kind of products I'm using a lot of, what kind of products I'm not using a lot of, what I've been fond of this year. Obviously, the stuff that I used up I'm mostly really liking, because otherwise it wouldn't be included in this project. Today, some changes again. It seems like every time I update, I do have some changes to talk about, so that's pretty fun. Let's start with the base. Last time I swapped the Makeup Forever Face and Body, which was a little bit too light for me, for this one. And this is Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream, Broad Spectrum SPF 30. My color is 01 Opal. I can probably tether between two, like the first color and the second color in their lineup. I think both are fine. Besides, this is a pretty sheer product. You won't like it if you're interested in some significant coverage, because you won't get it with that. This is a pretty sheer product with a luminous finish, but it sets and it doesn't feel tacky at all. So it's not greasy. I think if you are oilier and you like a luminous finish to your base product and you want sheer coverage, this is actually going to work for you as well. For me, with my dry sensitive skin, it works very well, but I do have to hydrate my skin ahead of application, so a pretty good layer of skincare underneath. But I think that's probably true for most foundations I can think of. So this guy is really, really good. I've used it for years. I super recommend it. I think you won't be disappointed if you're looking for the characteristics that I have gone over. Again, if you require coverage, you can use this with a concealer, or maybe you don't mind if imperfections peek through, that's fine. But if you want something sheer, I think this is a great pick. I think they did a very good job with the formula. I suspect I'll be repurchasing it. The next product is this Bite Beauty Multi-Stick, and I've struggled with this probably the entire year. It's been a while. It's a Bite Beauty Multi-Stick in the color Cashew. It's probably getting to the point where it's going to be expired. I'm not seeing, the little box with the expiration, like how many months it's good for usually. I don't know how long this is supposed to be good for. The scent is not changing. The texture is pretty much the same as it was before. Pigmentation hasn't changed. There isn't anything funky on the outside of the tube. It's probably fine to use up. I have this much left. So I did put a concerted effort into it, and I've used it a lot. Mostly, I'm done using it as a base to eyeshadows. I feel like eyeshadows adhere to this specific formula very well for some reason. I think I'm not going to repurchase this one or any other color from the multi-stick line. I found other multi-sticks that I like the texture of much better. This is a little too dry for me, which is probably why it works well as an eyeshadow primer. But, not everybody needs a colored eyeshadow primer. Most people probably prefer to have just one eyeshadow primer that is either transparent or matches the color of the eyelids. Just to cancel out any veininess or discoloration on the lids. So this is only good for those like darker, medium tone to darker looks. It's not really going to prime you for a light colored look. So for me, this is of limited use at this point. I don't love how it blends out on the cheeks. It's okay on the lips, but I also don't love a very matte texture. It's a bit drying, not too drying, but if you put lip balm underneath, it's fine. It's just, I've come to the conclusion, and it took me forever to really realize that I don't love this formula. I am pretty loyal to Bite Beauty. I think I love their stuff, and I've proclaimed my enjoyment of their lipstick formula in the past, and I have lots of them. But this, I don't know whether that's a really good, whether it's a good multi-stick formula. I think it's too dry, because most people will use multi-sticks on their face, and I don't want to be struggling blending it out. So it's been a while since it's been introduced to my makeup arsenal. I think I will part ways with it at the end of the year, I'll use it up as much as possible and then count it as done because there's not much left. I used up the majority of it, but I don't really want to keep it any longer. I think it's probably getting to the point where it's not good anymore to keep. I'm done with it basically after this project pan is over. Next, we have a powder. This is a violet toned powder. You know, the color correcting story, in which violet toned things are brightening, green toned things are canceling out redness, etc., etc. So this one was violet toned, and it was Besame brightening violet powder. In the color translucent, it wasn't translucent, it was whitish violets, which means it wouldn't work for anybody beyond maybe light medium to medium skin tone. If you go any darker than that, I feel like this would be super chalky and unflattering, but it's a nice finely milled powder, nothing special. Again, the fact that they call it translucent is laughable. It is not translucent. So I think that can be confusing, especially if you're like medium to dark. Like, well, yeah, you're gonna look at it and think it's translucent and brightening, great. And then you're going to be disappointed, hopefully return it if the return policy is okay. For me and my skin tone, it worked fine. It was okay. Like, I don't think this powder was anything particularly special. I do kind of like the idea of what they're going for with the vintage packaging. It's not exactly my aesthetic, but I can appreciate it. However, this is a cheapy packaging. It's a plastic thing, right? You're thinking maybe, oh, in the 40s and the 30s, maybe they had that sort of a style. Well, yes, maybe with the print, and I appreciate that the print hasn't like rubbed off, so it's actually printed well. But when you're holding it, it's a plasticky, thin plastic, lightweight packaging. I was kind of disappointed with it because I was hoping it was going to be more interesting than that, but it's a very basic violet toned powder, not translucent. Besame, what are you doing? This is a never-ending palette. I was shocked and horrified at myself when I looked at it again recently and I realized that the expiration date says 6 months. How can you use up an entire palette of very pigmented cream products? These are pigmented, and I've worked on this for months and months, and I've reached pan on 2 shades, as you can see. But I'm wondering, like, who can use that up in 6 months? It's impossible. I think it's impossible. And then I've had this thing for like maybe 2 years, about there. It's been way too long. Definitely not 6 months. I didn't really realize that it was so far past the expiry date. You know, nothing's growing in it. The smell hasn't changed. The texture hasn't changed. The pigmentation stays the same. Like, nothing changed in this palette, but the fact that it is like a year and a half out of date grosses me out. I can't use it anymore. Once I realized how far past expiration date it is, it was just, I couldn't even handle it anymore. This is going in the empties, although it is not empty. But I've gotten a good amount of use out of it, so I think it was worth it. I love the formula. But if all of them only last for 6 months, I wasn't really paying attention to this particular product and its lifespan. So if it's only 6 months, you know what? I'm gonna go back. I do like the formula a lot, but I'm gonna backtrack and say it's not worth it because who's gonna use up this whole thing or their entire big pot in 6 months? I don't. I've purchased them before. I'm pretty sure I've used them past expiration date. I don't recommend doing that, obviously. It's not great. We have the next cheek product because I haven't been using this one. I've been using this one, and you can tell. This is Lipstick Queen Frog Prince Cream Blush, one of those green ones, but they really look berry on the skin. I like that it is magnetized, and I'll tell you why, guys. Magnetized packaging is definitely the way to go in the cosmetic industry because it is very self-sealing, and if it's done properly and in good quality, like this makeup or Lipstick Queen is, it's really going to preserve your product because it self-seals well, and there's no chance of, you know, the clasp breaking and the product drying out or spoiling because there's no clasp, it's just magnet, and magnets don't usually break. So this Lipstick Queen, like, okay, let's compare. Packaging wise, kind of cheapy, kind of crap with Besame. I'm sorry guys if you love Besame, but for me, the feel of the product is important in my hand and it feels cheap to me. Although the product inside is okay, but just the packaging feels very cheap. I'm sorry if you are fans, but that's how I feel. On the other hand, Lipstick Queen packaging does not. Although it's also plastic, it's a heftier plastic. There is a magnet closure, which is really nice. There's a really nice mirror, of good quality mirror in it. And in general, the packaging does feel a lot more luxe. Of course, I also prefer the minimalist aesthetic. You know, it's clean, it's nice and beautiful, and it feels good in the hand. So much more of a fan of that kind of packaging than something like that. Let's talk about the actual product. So, huge pan. I had pan on it when I included it in the last update, and now the pan is giant. I'm not sure that I can use it up before 2020, but like, I'll give it a go. I'm pretty sure I can finish it off to completion though. This one is 9 months. I've had it for about probably 9 months, had it open and going for about 9 months. So I'm not afraid of this product going off. I think that's fine. It's going pretty well. It's sheer enough for me to be able to work with it, and the staying power is nuts on this thing. Like, this is a gel consistency. This is not a cream blush, really. It's a gel, harder gel blush, and it's sort of has this staining capacity, which is not great if you make a mistake and then try to erase it, but it's amazing for lasting power. So if you have long days, these Lipstick Queen blushes are really quite good at staying put for a cream blush. They really set and settle into the skin and just continue to have that nice flush. So today, if you're looking at the back of my cheek, it's a little rosy and slightly berry. This is what I have on there. Easy to blend out, and I think just user-friendly. Good job, Lipstick Queen. I won't be repurchasing this particular color, but I will keep an eye out for colors from Lipstick Queen that I might like, because the texture of these are actually really good. I'm not sure if this is just the frog prints texture or if this is the texture of all of their cream gel blushes. I hope they're all like that, because this is a really nice texture. They should run with it. Next thing is a piss off, honestly. This is the Almay Brow Styler in the color medium brown. I kind of picked it up on a whim because I really needed a brow gel of some sort, and I was running out of the one that I was using. And this sucks. This is like water. I was waiting for it to thicken up to start maybe functioning a little bit better, because, for instance, with mascaras, I let them thicken up a little bit over maybe a week or two of use, and I give them a shot for that long. And once they thicken up, they usually do very well, or better than they were when they were really wet. This particular one is the one I have on today in 2 layers, and this is Killer Curves Mascara by Physician Formula. I actually enjoy this. This is a good one, and this is a good example of how these kinds of products should thicken up to a perfect consistency. You know, you don't want them to be thick right away, because then they dry out immediately, but you want them to be, able to perform. This just didn't at all. I used it for an entire month. It pissed me off to use it because it was just, the quality isn't there. This sucks. Don't buy it. I think it does nothing. Spend your money on something else. If you do want a recommendation for a great brow gel, this is my very favorite, and I've been buying it again for years. I've used up multiples of them. And this is Clinique Just Browsing Brush On Styling Mousse in the color 03 Deep Brown. This is a good brow gel slash mousse. It does add a little bit of bulk to your brows. It defines them, gives them a little color. It does have some hold, you know, it's not so brows hold, but it's decent, really, really decent. So this guy, totally recommend. This guy, stay away. This is like, I'll maybe put a little bit of water in it with a little bit of pigment. I feel like it does nothing. Zero. Let's move on to lips. I added in 2 lipsticks last time. One of them is a nude. This color from MAC I've been repurchasing for years as well. This is one of my old school favorites, and that is a color that works for me no matter what, basically. I have made some significant progress on it, and I do think that I'll finish it up no problem in the next little while, before 2020 for sure. So this is going to be an empty in my project pan. Love the color, and the interesting thing is this peachy, browny, pinky color is so in the middle, so neutral and slightly sheer because it's a luster formulation. Anyway, if you know me, you know I change my hair color, and today we're rocking this mousy brown. I'm really into this color. So If you are going from warmer colors to cooler colors and from light to dark, you have to switch around your makeup to really go with the look. And I found that this lipstick goes with whatever hair color I have, whatever makeup I have. This is an all-rounder. I can just wear it whenever. Somehow it just adjusts. It matches so well with my skin tone that it just adjusts and looks good with whatever. Smoky eye, natural eye, dark hair, light hair, golden blonde or purple, like this color will always look good and I can trust it and rely on it. So I'm thinking I might even repurchase it. I was thinking I was done with MAC for now, with MAC lipsticks. I've had quite a few of them during my lifetime. And this one used to be the one that I would keep buying over and over again whenever I ran out. I may go back and buy this again because it's pretty sweet. By including it into this project, I really remembered how much I enjoyed it. Another MAC lipstick that has been added last time is MAC Rebel. This is a satin finish, and it's done. There was really not a lot remaining at last update, and I've really gone for the purple lips, especially with the darker hair. The purple lips somehow just work, and I've finished it off. I won't be repurchasing this particular color anytime soon. I've kind of gotten sick of this purple look on the lips. It's a little much at this point and I'm over it. If I get a craving, I know I can go to this one and repurchase it because it's a really good texture and a good color. It's fail safe for me if I want that buildable pigment. All right, guys, home stretch. The next product that I'm including, this is a new to my project pan kind of product. And I've finally found a way to love this. This is Vapor Stick, Color Stick in Mesmerize. Now, initially I thought I'd wear it on my eyes. It's this sort of purpley brown. And I tried it on my eyes and it just really didn't hold up and the wear time was really minimal. On the lips, this looked really weird. I tried it on the cheeks and fell in love. This is a fantastic color for the cheeks, specifically for contouring. This is kind of sheer, but this grayish, brownish, purplish pigment really lends itself well to contour on my kind of skin tone. And I think from fair to light, maybe light medium, this is the color that would work phenomenally because it's sheer enough to be very, very natural. But it does have this tone that lends itself to contouring. Today it is on me. I mean, I applied such a minimal amount. It probably isn't doing a ton, but it is in my sort of under my cheekbones and those hollows. It does give you quite a natural look. So I think if you are fond of contouring, but you also don't like a stripe of something on your face, this could be a really good solution. And this is clean natural. You know, vapor, that's what they do. I've been using it so much for that purpose that I don't really have a lot of it left. As you can see, there's like a little tiny nub and then I'll be done. I think in the next month, it's definitely going to be gone. Before 2020, I can get it out of the stash and move on to something else. I may repurchase this. At first I was like, what do I even do with it? I need to declutter it. And then once I found a way to use it that really worked very well, I'm kind of loving the color and the sheerness of it. The last thing I'm adding is this little guy. I know I'm not going to finish this. This is a pretty pigmented bronzer by Becca, but layerable. This is Sunlit Bronzer in Bronzed Bondi, and I have a mini of it. I am in love with this formula. It's a great formula for bronzers. It isn't shimmery, but it does have a satin finish, which creates a very skin-like effect. It looks great on my skin tone. This is a fantastic color for my skin. Looks really good, layers nicely, so you can go for a very natural look. You can wear it as more of a statement. If you're going for a bronze look, you can really build it up. You can, even if you want an overall bronze all over the face, you can definitely just dust it very, very lightly to give yourself that bronzed glow. Really pretty bronzer. I am really liking it. This little mini does have 1.7 grams, so it's not a ton, but it's enough for me to get a taste for it and understand that this is a really good one. So once I use up a couple of other bronzers from my stash, I think I might go for this. This is really quite good. I enjoy it tremendously. I don't think I'll finish it up during this project pan before 2020, but I think what I'll do after the project ends, obviously the year ends, I am going to transition this into my travel makeup bag. I do have a bunch of minis in there that I really, really like traveling with, and I think this is a good travel product because it's fail-safe, easy to apply, really, really good texture, easy to use, just like all over excellence over here. So I like to have those kinds of products, but in a mini format in my travel makeup bag. And when I'm traveling, I really don't like shuffling products around. I like to have my travel bag already ready to go so that I can just toss it into my wheelie suitcase and go. I travel with carry-on only nowadays. For years now, I've been only traveling with carry-on, no check-in luggage ever. So everything needs to be miniature and as small as possible to fit in. That is it. So lots of different changes. I will update you again soon. I think there's only one more update that needs to happen. And then I'll do the overall end of the year sort of video in which I'll show you what I finished up, what I had to declutter because it expired. That is a good reminder to myself to keep using things up because they go bad. Like this guy went bad before I could use it up. Of course, it's fine. Like I'm not upset about it. I got really good use out of it. It's basically to remind me that I need to get use of my stuff before I have to toss it. The other thing that I do, and I do that every year, is I do film a tally up of the cost, how much that makeup has cost me during the year. And give you an idea of how much I'm basically spending on the stuff that I'm actually using, and give myself an idea that this is probably supposed to be my budget for the year for makeup, but I far exceed it most times. I declutter a lot. So that's it for today. Are you doing Project Pan? If not, are you using anything up? Do you have something in your collection that you want to use up before it expires or goes bad, goes off? For me, this is the kind of thing that I do every year, and I will continue doing it. I'm still not sick of project panning, so I'll keep doing it. And that's it for today. See you guys later. Have a wonderful day, and good luck to you. Bye-bye.